of can acquisitions as well as techniques and methods of collecting cans. In this exhibition, we will show you the various methods that were used throughout history and the ways that modern man collects cans today. We'll bring you through the times of Woodworth family and how they collected cans to bring forth a meal of unbelievable expense. We will continue with the history as we knew it at the beginning of can collecting. This is Roger Moore, out for WCAN. Can collecting began in Jacksonville 2 years ago when Bee started getting cans from people in the Springfield clinic where she worked, and they gave them to her as a way of showing her expertise and Depression era mentality for collecting and saving money. It also continued with Padre on his daily jogging as he collected cans along the route of his jog. He still, to this day, holds the record for carrying the most cans in a sweatsuit on his way to and from the house in the morning. And mind you, this is at 5:30 in the morning when it's even hard to find cans, much less see them. Beyond that, it continued to spread throughout Jacksonville, and we saw all walks of life, and they began collecting cans, and our monumental task of bringing them to the Reclaim Center began. There wasn't enough trucks in Jacksonville to haul these cans in, and as the price skyrocketed, we began to find that we couldn't find enough cans to satisfy the need. I'm going to talk to a man, Mark Woodworth, who will tell us a little bit how he used his can collection to better himself and his family.
Well, Roger, back in 1986, I saw the need to collect cans in Jacksonville. My mother introduced the idea to me. I went out right away and bought this brand new 1986 pickup truck. This is a 2-ton pickup truck. I use it to carry cans back and forth between the recycling facility and wherever we collect them. In the early days, my dad and I would go out around Lake Jacksonville, around the airport, out where all the kids would mess around and party all weekend long. We'd pick up those cans, jog along the road, pick up cans, combining exercise and workout together, saving cans in Jacksonville, and making about 16 cents for every pound. We'd pick up about 30 cans and get a little bit of money for it. In more recent years, my young daughter and I would drive down Massey Lane together. While I cruised about 3 miles an hour, I would actually force her to jump in and out of the truck and pick up cans that were laying along the road. And you can't tell it right now, but in the bed of this pickup truck, we can hold about 17 giant-sized garbage bags of cans. Sometimes my father and I go out to the can reclamation center twice a week and drop off our cans. It's an amazing feat. But even more amazing is the fact that we spend our time doing this. My father, who has a doctorate in ministry degree, is known throughout Jacksonville and indeed throughout central Illinois for collecting cans. By someone who's traveling along Route 36 on the interstate saw my father out in his church robes collecting cans one morning. I recall the fond event once as well. Between the wedding ceremony of my sister Marion, Bill Reed, and the reception that followed out at the park in Springfield, my father stopped suddenly. My family was in another car, and we stopped too. And you know what? He actually stopped to pick up several cans that some careless high school kids had thrown out the night before. Not even wedding ceremonies can get in the way of my father's desire to clean up the streets of Springfield or Jacksonville.
Thank you for a very enlightening story on how you got your truck from the efforts of collecting cans. And now we'll show you a dangerous simulation on how those rowdy high schoolers have a tendency to flagrantly disallow the law and will abuse their littering privilege and throw those cans away. This is Roger Moore with WCAN. Okay, and now we take you to our test track where you will see us simulate this dangerous thing. Continue until this dangerous activity is stopped, and that is littering cans. So, litters, I wanted to show you even our test track is not immune to the can littering efforts of the Jacksonville youth. As we drove by, we noticed that this can has been found in its natural state, and it shows you that it's been worn by many times of a car traffic, so that can littering is everywhere. And we are sure that those of you that see this broadcast will come out and get this can, and it will be recycled shortly and will find its way into the coffers of those of you that are can collectors. This is Roger Moore with WCAN Jacksonville.
Of our program, we'd like to show you can collecting techniques. In the beginning, of course, can gathering routines were rather primitive. Watch now as I bend down to pick up this can and carelessly discard it below my feet. You can see where the back is strained. The man's hand is to pick up the dirty can. Now I'm going to show you how people through history learn to pick up cans. As I mentioned before, can collecting was rather primitive. Here we use a pitchfork. Now watch how it doesn't work too well to pick up a can. Darn. Got it. Well, the pitchfork was not too efficient. Next, scientists developed the rake, which had been used to rake up leaves that wind had blown into the yard. It seemed natural. One could use the rake to bring the can closer to the can collector. Then we are still left with the problem of having to bend and stoop. Then research engineers at Mobile thought they'd come up with the perfect solution, the shovel. Here I will demonstrate. The shovel can be placed blade down at the base of the can. Then the can collector applies pressure to pick the can up. But look what happened. The elusive can would move away from the can collector. And, unfortunately, we were left with a golfer's nightmare, a divot, which was not worth anything at the can recycling center. The effort continued. New blades were created, still trying to pick up the can. But again, folks, it just didn't work. Engineers at NASA, using government funding, came up with the can shovel, similar to what is used to gather up snow. Again, it just didn't work. Well, our scientists have come up with a few suggestions, and with the help of WCAN news reporter, we're going to look into this a little bit more.
Well, Mark, thank you. I want to let you know that we scoured the countryside of Illinois to try and find the sophisticated methods that are used in collecting cans. And I'm happy to say that we had found some of those methods to be very lucrative to you that are viewing this program. We do feel, however, that some of those are best left to adults, and that we do not recommend small children using these techniques. The first of which we found most unusual was that which uses the effort of a bow and arrow to collect the cans. Most intriguing. And by demonstrating it here to you at home, we'd like to bring it to you firsthand. A bow and arrow that we found. And I'll try to demonstrate it here in my amateur can collecting technique. Alas, I missed, but it shows that it is not an infallible method of collecting cans. One can use several arrows to collect these cans without actually hitting them. And believe me, this takes a Robin Hood's accuracy before you can finally capture the can. I don't even think I can do it with these arrows. As you can see, this method of can collecting, even though it is one of the more modern, in fact, is not the most effective. We will show you several other ways to collect cans that are much more effective than that. The next of which we found a fisherman. Many of you are fishermen out there, and he was collecting cans that had floated to the bottom of the lake. We'll show you that technique next.
I'd like to now demonstrate my can casting technique using a Zebco 33 reel, a lead weight and a hook. With a can, you don't need bait. All right. God, I got a big one. Must be one of them 40-ounce bud cans. Okay, aha. God dang, I got a big one. I'm gonna reel it in. Gotta be careful so they don't get away. Boy, that's a beauty. Just about got my limit for the day. Oh, God, it popped right there. Whoa. Got it caught up a bit. Now, take a look at that beauty. That's one of them Milwaukee 12-ounce cans. This one didn't get away.
Thank you, fisherman Joe Blow. And now, I'd like to show you a method we found most unusual in our tour of Central Illinois. And that was the use of, yes, you guessed it, the regular drain unclogger that you use in your little toilet bowl. We found a person trying to pick up some of the nastier cans that we've seen with this method. And it actually works in some instances. But I wasn't able to be successful with it. Speaking of nasty cans, we found on our tour of the roads of Central Illinois many nasty cans along the way. There was one method we found, and one old lady that really wanted to make sure that the nasty can would not cause her house to be infected by such vile things. We even found spit inside of a nasty can at one time. Some vulgar, foul man put his spit in it. Very disgusting. Anyway, I'll show you that technique she used in a moment. The technique this lady used was a 4-step process in her search for cans. The first step was the identification of a nasty can. And we have a nasty can here below me, And if you look, you'll see that it's among trash and it has a nasty cover on it. Apparently some foul feces of some animal or something. The second step in the process, if I can do this right, is to apply the rubber glove. This is to ensure that the nasty can will not infect your person. The third step was the use of tongs. These tongs, when used in concert with the rubber glove, ensured that the picking up of a nasty can would not affect the person. The fourth step in this process was to disinfect the nasty can and my hand. As you can see, I did the wrong technique. And after that disinfection occurred, ooh, nasty can. We've inserted into the collection bag. Using this four-step process, this enabled this lady to collect a number of nasty cans that otherwise would have gone left uncollected. This is Roger Moore with WCAN Jackson. The next portion of our program, we're going to investigate the modern ways of collecting cans through the use of electronic gadgetry. One method we found in Central Illinois that proved to be the best way we found to find that elusive can that was out of eyesight was the use of a metal detector specifically designed for aluminum can acquisition. We hope that you out there will try and find time to go out and purchase this for your can lover during the Christmas holidays. This can be found from Ronco at $11.95. That's $1,195 at Ronco. Get it today.
Product. This can detector uses the latest super heterodyne radar technology developed at NASA. With this device, we're able to locate cans wherever they may be lurking. I extend the sensitive tube out like this. It can detect aluminum at 1,000 yards. A mobile device is now patent pending. I begin my search in slow rhythmic motion. It works similar in principle to a Geiger counter. Watch now, I can.
Now we're back to show you methods that we found to be effective in crushing those cans so that your bulk density of bringing cans to the recycle center are much better. There are three most attractive ways. First is the hammer, the second is the brick, and the third is an unusual method we found in one small community in Central Illinois. To demonstrate these crushing methods, I'll use my assistant, Mark.
Thank you, Roger. Well, you know, once you have a can, it becomes challenging because we have to smash it down to the right size to make most efficient use of the transportation resources. Well, first of all, the can collector has to be in great shape. I joined the YMCA and started doing weightlifting so I could heft the cans. Well, once you have a can, you could, of course, do like they did on Earth Day in 1969 and physically smash the can with your foot. It works, but it can also lead to painful ankle injury. The next method some people use is the brick. This brick can be used to smash a can quite handily. One can, one brick. Does a pretty good job. Another thing we can do is use a hammer. Hammer's nice, its rubber grip is good for the wrist, but it takes many different strokes to accomplish the same task. One is also in danger. For the purpose of today's demonstration, I'll use this can, but let me finish it off first. My, do I like to do that. Okay, anyway, today's device is a brand new thing. What you do is, you take the can in its natural state, and you place it into the smasher very carefully like this. Then in one quick motion, the can is reduced to the size of a piece of paper. Watch. In about 30 seconds, the intense force and heat of this device smashes the can flat, just like I thought it would. For only $219, you can reduce a whole bag of cans to the size of a shoebox. Pretty good, isn't it? How come you have your keys? Oh. That thing costs like 49 cents.
We've shown you various methods that we've found can collecting to be evident in central Illinois. We've shown you also various ways of smashing cans. We've also shown you the history of can collecting as we know it today. It is your patriotic duty to collect cans so that you may further the naturalist. What was my word I was thinking? Their cause. And if you further that cause, the National Can Collection Society will give you this shiny bronze medal. It is the National Can Society's most prestigious honor, and it will be given to those of you that collect these cans. And to do that, you need to show that you can collect cans with the best of them. And I urge you to try and get this. It comes with a cash reward of $1,000. That's a hell of a lot of can collection. But again, it's your patriotic duty. This has been a fun program. It has been an enlightening program. And I tell you the truth, I haven't picked up a can yet. But after this program, I surely will. This is Roger Moore from WCAN, Jacksonville.